Yo, guys, I know it's been a long time since I posted, but man, there's so many updates in the AI world, and I am super pumped to show you guys a new tool that is super under the radar. It's called Thumio, and it's made by Corbin. If you guys study AI stuff, I'll link his channel below, but he's a YouTuber who has been giving out AI information for a while now. And he taught me, he gives real information and he's more laid back about it. That's what I like about his brand. And then I come to find out he has a whole app and a website that is super fire. Like, it's so fire. I signed up as soon as I saw the results. I said, this is the site I've been looking for. So as you guys know, I teach you guys about the AI tools for music producers and artists. And I've showed you guys the Google Gemini, the Nano Banana Pro, the C Dance stuff. I've shown you all the modern stuff, but I even still find myself going back and forth between Nano Banana and Photoshop. I even had the Nano Banana plugin inside of Photoshop, and it's still a lot of tweaking you have to do a lot of the time. But this site actually saves so much time. If you're a YouTuber or somebody who makes product art, this is built for you. Like, look at this. So for example, let me see if there's a home page. So I don't know the exact home page. I guess .com, that would be the home page. All right, so here's the home page. So he really thought this out, and the site looks amazing, first of all. So it says, stop losing views to bad thumbnails. And he has different examples. I've seen his Twitter where he shows all these examples. Okay, so he's showing you, you could give it a drawing, it can convert it to a thumbnail and do all this cool stuff. And he utilizes Google underneath the hood, from what I understand. So once you sign in, let's go back, make sure we're logged in. All right, so I was doing a couple tests just to see. So firstly, I went to templates and I was just scrolling around and I was like, okay, what thumbnail templates speak to the audience that we talk to? And I said, this one might speak to the audience because it's showing a laptop screen. We producers work off of laptops. So I said, let me try this one. So I clicked on this template, and basically all you got to do is just hit start editing, and it's going to replace this little robot icon with your personality. So it took me a minute to figure out like where stuff is, but he makes it pretty simple. So you can just click where it says insert me. And you have to find a picture on your computer that like shows your entire facial structure. So I have some of those, and let me open that up real quick. So for example, some of my favorite poses are this, but the thing is, it doesn't show my entire face. So I could technically use these, but the program underneath the hood is going to have to guess the rest of my face. So I was looking for pictures that show off my entire face in the good lighting. So here's the picture I chose right here. So just take one day and just take pictures of yourself, and you should be good. With AI, you'll never need to take another picture ever again. If you take a decent, and I made sure I was fit, you know, this is my most fit I've probably ever been in a long time. Okay, so I said insert me. So what it does behind the scenes, and you get to try this for free. So I'm gonna link it below because I was so blown away by the free result. I said, I'm immediately signing up. I signed up immediately. Like as soon as I saw the thumbnail and how it worked, and then on top of, you can sign up as a free trial. I said, skip the free trial. I wanna get straight to being a paying customer because I want to support this vision. This is what we've been looking for. Yes, Gemini and Nano Banana can do a lot of cool stuff, but the thing is, you have the little watermark in the bottom right. And if you don't know about APIs and all this stuff, it just gets convoluted. Most of the time, you still have to go back into Photoshop and edit stuff, which you can still technically do with this service. So it's not like, you know, you have to do everything on here, but it saves me the time of even going back and forth to Photoshop. That is the part that I thought was so magical. So in a matter of less than a minute, okay, it took this template, okay, it took my face and it replaced the robot with me, my entire body, my profile, my shirt, my watch. Okay, now I want it to replace the text. So now we're going to say in the little chat icon over here, the chat box, let's say make text read. And again, under the hood, we're using, I think, Google. Don't give me the quoting, y'all. I want to say Google something 3, Gemini 3. I don't know the exact one. Make text read. And then we'll say beautiful beats in minutes. Okay. Now this is the thing that sold me. So as soon as I saw this, oh, and then I gave it a picture. So let's go to where it says upload image. So once you hit upload image, you can go inside of your Finder, and I'm going to use this picture of Logic Pro. Okay. So we're going to hit open, and I'm going to tell it to also replace the laptop screen with this screenshot of Logic Pro. Now, to do this in Photoshop, the amount of stuff you would have to do is like, you have to actually know how to use the perspective warp and do all this stuff. And even the text, you would have to find the exact text, find the exact gradient. You would have to do all this stuff just to match it. So I would rather, you know, the system take care of that. So let's hit go. Now these are, and on top of all this, he also has more tools under the hood. So once I saw that, not only can it create thumbnails in a matter of minutes, oh, it's called Google Pro 3. Not only can it create thumbnails in a matter of minutes, there's all these tools we can upscale. For example, there's different tools to create A/B testing. You could polish or remove backgrounds. You could do clickbait. I guess what it does is maybe animate your face. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a very small picture of him with his mouth closed, and then the clickbait opens his mouth and gives him an expression. So they figured out a workflow that tells whatever API they're using behind the scenes, I don't know whether it's Google or whatever, to open up your mouth and become expressive. So he's thought through like what makes a good YouTube thumbnail, because he is a YouTuber. So he knows the grind of being on YouTube and how much time it takes to do a thumbnail. But now we can get the professional level thumbnails without going through all these hacked websites. And, you know, you can always hire a human whenever you want, like supreme thumb and unique thumbnails. Great. But for the majority of people, by the time you hire a thumbnail designer, like you're already negative $100, and the video, not every video makes $100. And even if it does, you don't get all of the 100. So it's basically, you don't make any money off of YouTube, and you can't run a business at no profit. Okay. So, you know, I think a lot of these, let me make a comment. A lot of thumbnail designers, I think they're going to have to do more expertise work. A lot of video editors soon, I think, will have to be more experts, because there is a chasm in the pricing structure right now behind the scenes. You know, thumbnail artists want $200 to do a thumbnail. It's like, bro, my video is going to make $5 in the next 3 months. You want $200. And it's just not fair. You know, there's no balance in the marketplace between the pricing. So I think AI, especially a system like this, more than AI, because again, like I said, guys, I have Nano Banana Pro. I've used Reeve. I've used, you know, all the image editors for the most part, and you still have to do work to it. This site makes it so that you don't have to do the work. It actually does the nuances that take care of the entire thing. And because a YouTuber actually created this platform, I'm more confident to know that he understands what we focus on. So he can talk to all these, you know, AI systems behind the scenes and organize it to where, you know, there's a workflow over top of them. And now we can utilize his logic applied to thumbnails, and he has really good templates. All right. So now, as you guys can see, here's where we started, this robot. And then I inserted a picture of myself, clean picture of my face. It replaced my whole body with the robot. Now we're replacing the text and the screen. Okay, so I gave it a picture of this Logic Pro screen, and now it replaced the laptop screen with Logic Pro. It says beautiful beats in minutes, and that's a picture of me. Thumbnail done. Okay, all you got to do is hit export. Now, the cool thing I thought about his site too was that he allowed us to export even on the free trial demo. So I said, wow, he's given a lot of access to this, you know. So that was just the fact that he was willing to give even more, and then on top of this, a free trial. I was like, I'm signing up immediately, because somebody who gives this much value for free, they're making a fire product, because they truly believe in the product. So that's why I signed up immediately after I saw this. So then we hit export, and then now we have an official thumbnail for YouTube, just like that. Crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Now, you guys can also upscale in this platform. So let me show you guys how to upscale. If you click on your thumbnail, like your stage of thumbnail, if you go to where it says, look at me forgetting how to get there, go to tools, then click on where it says upscale. So upscaling, for those who don't know, this is when you take a like blurry picture, you run it through upscaling, and it will make it look like you took a high quality photo shoot picture. So let's hit upscale. Now this is already high quality, so I don't really see it, you know, getting too much higher of a quality, but let's just see what the upscale does. You know, it might make a small difference because it's already super high quality. There's nothing really to upscale in that case. Now, if I had a thumbnail idea that I just wanted to upscale, you would just upload it, hit upscale. It would run its algorithm or whatever it runs behind the scenes. So this is the platform, y'all. And we're going to try this on. I'm going to do something new that I haven't done, which is to choose a different template and see if it still works. Now, I'm sure there's times where Google might do something quirky. I'm sure. I don't, you know, it even does that in Gemini. But on this platform, I'm getting less randomness. Okay. So let's see what we have here. So here's is there a way to see this? Yeah, let's open these up in a different tab. All right. So here's the original. And here's the upscale version. So the upscale version, to my eyes, looks very similar. What it does is it makes the colors more flat. So in this case, there's nothing really to upscale. It's already where it needs to be. So in that case, that picture just didn't need to be upscaled. So you don't always need upscale, but it's nice that they have that. Okay. So now let's go to templates and let's try a different template. Now, again, I've never used any of these other templates, but you have to think, okay, as a music producer, especially somebody like me who teaches music production, you have to ask which template makes sense for us. Like, for example, if I did this template where I'm just sitting on a cliff, it's like, how does that relate to music production? I mean, it could, if I said like I'm making a beat on the side of a hill and, you know, something random like that. So some of these you have to think, okay, what makes sense for my audience? But what I love is that he has like entertainment style thumbnail templates, and he has thumbnail templates that apply to education content. So if we scroll down, all right, so if we scroll down, we see different ones that, you know, catch my eye. So this one looks pretty cool where it's like multiple ideas. We could say like, you know, Reddit messages or something like this. We could say you're in a new city. Okay. So whatever city that is, you could say making beats in the style of Detroit or whatever. That makes sense. This one, you could just swap the logo for, I wonder if it could swap logos. Let's try this one. This is going to be a real test because I want to see if it can transform the asset and the subject. So this is going to be interesting. So let's hit start editing. Again, I've never done this before, so I'm just going to do this in stages. So the first thing I do is I hit insert me, because that's 99% of the time what we're going to be doing is just putting our body or our face on the thumbnail because the idea is already there. So as we wait for Google, the next thing I'm going to prompt it to do is replace the YouTube broken, well, let's use proper English. Replace the broken YouTube logo with, I don't know, Logic Pro logo. Okay. And then we're going to find that picture on our computer. All right. So here's the new Logic Pro 12 logo. So I guess the title I could use is like how I broke Logic Pro 12, or like, that's crazy what it just did. Yo, that actually looks like me. I've seen myself for 34 years and I know every angle of myself. The fact that it got the angle like of my left side of my head and I think this looks like me is crazy. Okay. So now we're going to say in the prompt, replace the broken, got to be specific, the broken YouTube logo with Logic Pro logo. All right, let's say like, and make it broken. I don't know if that's proper English. So hopefully they understand what I'm saying. So let's hit the input and let's see what other tools we have here. So again, some of the tools are you can insert yourself, which is my favorite, basically taking a template and replacing it with your face. Then you have the reshoot feature, which basically takes your existing thumbnail and rearranges it to look like different variations. So this is good for thumbnail A/B testing. So when I get hold of the system, I'm going to create thumbnails and then use the reshoot feature to create the 3 variations that we have access to in the new YouTube behind the scenes. You can now test thumbnails. So I'm definitely going to be using this to test thumbnails. And then we have polish, again, removing that background. You have A/B testing, which says generate a creative variation of your thumbnail. So I guess, I don't know if this is the same or what. Rearrange says rearrange the elements into a fresh composition. So these are similar in my opinion, but maybe A/B testing is more, it creates more variation. So we'll try that. And then you could favorite these too, which saves a lot of time. Then the clickbait thing, again, it figures out what needs to pop. Like for example, the laptop in here has a glow to it, whereas before the human face was closed with the mouth closed and then it made his mouth open. So you could do this with props or through human clickbait. So here's the example there between those two. Now it'd be cool if this like hovered. Can I click on this? Okay. So it's kind of hard to switch between prop and human, but if you just do this, you can see the examples just like that. So it makes the human's mouth go from closed to open for the clickbait, because humans do respond to mouth open. For some reason, we just respond to people assuming something as a threat. And then we see the prop clickbait, which finds the subject or the object, pardon me, and then outlines it in this case and adds like a Gaussian blur to the background or some kind of bokeh blur in the background. So these are very useful for YouTube. Again, these are functions we would do on Photoshop. So the fact that we could do this right inside this platform and get straight to the point is huge. Sorry, my son just woke up from his nap. So here we have a watermark remover. This is huge because again, when you guys generate stuff on Gemini, the way I use the Nano Banana Pro is just straight in Gemini. I don't use the APIs and do all this stuff. The only thing I do through API on file.ai is upscale. So, but the fact that you can do watermark removal, this means now all these platforms that add that little watermark on the AI generated images, you could just get rid of it, which before you would have to go into Photoshop, use a marquee to highlight, or a lasso tool to highlight the watermark. You would have to use the remove tool, and you have to wait. Then you have to export it again. It was so much time involved with just removing a simple watermark. So the fact that this does this inside this platform saves so much time. Like I said, this is not one of those platforms where it's like Canva, where it's just, you just drag stuff around and they call it like a Photoshop alternative. This is truly doing the stuff that, for me as a non-artist or whatever, who knows a little bit about Photoshop, not a lot. But this just does all the stuff that I would do in Photoshop. So why would I need to continue Photoshop unless for a very specific use case, which is like, I don't know. I don't even know what I would use Photoshop for. So that's why I say this guy has created a Adobe. He's coming for Adobe. Shout out to Corbin, because this is crazy. Thumio. All right, let's see the results, because there's so many tools here. It did the Logic Pro broken logo, y'all. That's crazy. It is actually crazy. So here's where it started. Just to give you guys an example, we have this template where it has this person here, subject here with the YouTube logo. And then again, I gave it my face, clean picture of your face with as much brightness as you can. And then it replaced me, my entire body, with the robot looking thing. And then I said, okay, give it this Logic Pro logo and make it break like you did on the YouTube logo. So then it knew exactly what I was saying and made the like, bro, we will never need Photoshop. I mean, maybe like if you wanted to make this brighter or something, you could use Photoshop to brighten it up. That's probably what I would use Photoshop for, is more of a mixing environment. Like if you're in a music production, you know, mixing is where we edit stuff to make it pop a little bit more. That's probably the final thing I would do on Photoshop, is just the final mixing, just to maybe add a little 3D here and there. But in terms of the composition of the thumbnail, this platform figured it out. And the fact that it's only $20 a month is actually criminal. Now, let me see the pricing. So let's go to upgrade. I don't know the differences here. So I just signed up to the one at the bottom because I don't know the differences between. So basically it says entry level plan with access to premium models, unlimited channel campaigns, and more, which, as you guys saw, we have access to the tools that you would normally use. There's nothing like behind some crazy higher paywall. And then it says creators plus $60 a month, includes 3 times more usage on OpenAI and Gemini models. So again, I guess if you do like 1,000 thumbnails a month, that would be for you. And then you have the ultra plan, which is $200 a month. It says get maximum value with 20 times usage. Basically, you're just getting more and more usage out of it. So if you want to pump out thumbnails, like if this is your business making, I'm sure you guys could even hustle and do this on Fiverr. People do not know about AI. This is what I'm saying. Nobody knows about AI. They're not paying attention. You guys have the first mover's advantage. Corbin knew way ahead of time what to create, and he used all the tools to build his own platform. So shout out to him, because this is actually crazy, bro. Like not that I don't ever need Photoshop, because what I would do on this case is just brighten this thumbnail. Let's see if there's like a mixing tool. I don't know. Let's go to tool and just see if there's like some kind of, I don't know. I don't even know what to call it. Like, what would you call it? Like mixing, polish, brighten. If there's like a brighten tool, that'd be a fire next thing, like to brighten. Or let me see. Let me just see if we could just type in brighten this image. Duh, I could just ask the thing. Brighten this image, add contrast, and add a 3D effect. Let's just see if it can do it inside the actual thing. I never thought to just ask it. Around subject. Okay, so this is experimental. If this works or not, I have no idea, but we're gonna see. So the cool thing about this platform I love too is that he has even more stuff that I have no idea. So you can add your own shortcuts. You can favorite your own tools. So basically down here is like your customized, like if you have like you know how like the workers wear that work belt and they have their favorite tools in it. This is basically your work belt. You could put in your favorite shortcuts, like your favorite things to do. So for example, mine would be clickbait. Can we pin this? Okay, so we pinned the clickbait tool and it made it brighter. Yo, this actually makes the case that I will never need Photoshop. OMG. Let me do one more prompt. Okay, add glow around subject. Bro, if this does what I think it's about to do, and then make glow subtle but apparent. Like, bro, I spelled apparent way wrong. Is it 2 P's? Yeah. Like this, bro, he has figured it out, bro. This is going to be $1 billion company. The amount of creators that are about to be created in the next 10 years is going to keep growing. So the fact that we all need YouTube thumbnails like this, And again, guys, I am a person who utilizes AI for my thumbnails. I've never found a simple system like this ever. And I've seen the little systems from other platforms, but they never really click with me. This one clicks. I've used the Gemini. I've used Nano Banana through Gemini. I've used the Reeves. I've used the Photoshop. I've used the plugins. I've used all that stuff, but it takes a lot of time. So it even added a glow. That's actually crazy. Now I've noticed when you run more and more iterations through Google, it tends to add this like Gaussian, I don't even know the word for it, but like this kind of blurry stuff to your skin. So that's just the nature of Google or any kind of AI system. It just, the more you run the same image through it, it's going to give you more and more of that kind of splattery look. So I just wanted to give you guys that awareness. Okay. But it still looks from afar like, bruh, it added the glow. It brightened the image. I think my favorite would be the non-glow version actually. So I think I like this one the most. So let's compare. Here's before, here's after. That is actually crazy. Oh my gosh, this man has figured it out, bro. That's why I signed up immediately. I was like, he gets it. And when I found out there were so many tools, I was like, he really gets it, because there's tools on here I didn't even think of. So let's see what else we can. I think that's really all I want to show y'all. I don't want to hold you guys too long, but man, this site is a massive gem. Like, you need to sign up, period. This is the only tool I'm talking about in terms of thumbnails from now on. And it says thumbnail designs our users are requesting added daily. Use and sell freely. What does that mean? Can I use thumbnail templates commercially? Yes. All thumbnails you create using Thumio templates are yours to use however you like. There are no restrictions on commercial use. In other words, if you want to create a side hustle to make thumbnails for people, use this website, sign up for 20 bucks a month, charge somebody $50 for a thumbnail. You now may double your money back in the first transaction. You know how many people need thumbnails? And this is the quality of thumbnail that looks like a thumbnail designer actually made it. It doesn't look like a hacked together thumbnail. I can't tell you guys how many times they send me emails where it's like, I can do your thumbnails. You know, let me see if I can find it. Hold up. So I couldn't find the email that it like is really apparent that somebody's just running it through this like AI filter. But these are the thumbnails they propose through emails. And these look very just kind of scattered and random. It doesn't look like anything in particular that is like appealing. So I get offered these all the time. They just hit up the email. I'm sure they scrape my email from somewhere, and they just send you these proposals with this AI. It's just hacked together stuff. And, you know, I'm not criticizing this human skill, but this is not an appealing service to somebody like me. And the fact that Thumio can do something like this, but like 50 times better, is crazy. Let me see if I can find the email. If I can't, then I'll just go back to the platform. Oh my gosh, y'all, I found the email. So here I was trolling. This is my inner evil. Okay. So here I was trolling this person because I have no idea who they were. So the email basically said, "Hi, Busy Works Beats. I recently watched your video." They didn't watch the video. The music industry is a jungle and was impressed by the content. I noticed the thumbnail could be more engaging to attract more viewers. So I said, okay. And then it says, so I created a quick redesign as a free sample. And it says, if you like it, I offer a 3 thumbnail pack for only $70 delivered. And this is the AI right here, the little M dash. So offer a 3 thumbnail pack for only $70 delivered in 24 hours and ready to upload. So basically, 70 divided by 3 is what, I don't know, like 25 bucks or whatever the math is, 23 bucks per. I did that math right. So 23 bucks per thumbnail. Again, this subscription on Thumio is $20 a month. This person's charging $20 per thumbnail. Okay. And you get 3 of them for 70. Then it says no pressure if it's not your style. Just thought I'd share. So I just thought this was so crazy because it was the original video had an AI image about the music jungle, and it had like a way better image than this. Let me show you the original. Hold on. All right, so here's the original thumbnail. Now, the original thumbnail, the fact that it's better than whatever they sent me in this email, like I was like, okay, they're trolling, or this has to be some kind of AI or some kind of automated system. So I just thought it was just so terrible. You know, sorry if this is that person's skill set, but this all looks AI generated, like poorly AI generated. And I just thought it was so terrible. I was like, I'm going to troll. So I, went into my evil side and I started trolling. So then I said, oh, that's fire. How can we work? And then I think they sent something else. Like I think a different email they sent was the pricing. I was like, bruh, like, no. Okay. So the fact that like, that's the market and Thumio is delivering on like actual stuff that we would actually use, like that looks YouTube ready. That is like, man, it blows that stuff out of the water. So hopefully you got, even this looks fire. Like imagine I was holding the FL Studio sampler or Edison or something like that. There's so many we could use as producers in here. Like, man, there's so many templates too. It is insane, y'all. Look at how many templates there are. There's so many. You will definitely be seeing my thumbnail game go up to the sky. So when you guys think that I hired some thumbnail designer, nope, I'm subscribed to Thumio. All right, y'all. That's all I wanted to say. I'm not going to hold you guys forever. Look how many I'm still scrolling. There's more thumbnails. That's actually crazy, y'all. All right, y'all. Telling you guys, do not sleep. I cannot let you guys sleep on this stuff anymore. AI is to the point where like you're either paying attention or you're asleep. And it's my duty to make sure you guys don't fall asleep. This is like literally massive value. All right, y'all, subscribe if you're new. Peace. And I'll link his YouTube channel below. Peace.